if there's like a vision in you, it's up to you to just bring it to pass, because there's an audience for something. Like there's an audience for everything. I believe that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just a matter of shooting your shot until people come to the stadium.
First episode. I'm nervous.
I'm excited. Personally, I am.
Will,
And I am Joseph.
Will has been trying to get on a podcast
Yeah,
for a long time. So he's just happy to have a mic in front of him.
I am.
And to be in front of a camera. Whether it was a Creatives Are Essential podcast or not, Will just wants to
William
have a
has
show.
been prepping for a day such as this. That boy has been watching Breakfast Club faithfully. Like, good morning, y'all. This is the again. I got to do it again.
It's like I know that intro.
Do the intro.
Should I do it?
Go for
Do it.
All right, ready? It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building. And then, you pretend like you're a special guest.
Nerd.
Well, yeah, welcome to the first episode of the Creatives Are Essential podcast.
Yeet.
This is crazy. I've been wanting to do this podcast for a year, but now that Creatives Are Essential is like a thing, this is like a better platform to do it on. But like these topics that we're going to talk about, like the struggle of being a creative or just different things that you deal with, like I feel like it's just something that needs to be talked about. And I'm not even sure. I mean, I'm sure there's a podcast out there, that does it, but it's all, or that talks about that stuff, but it's just nice to, like, I just want to talk about things that are relatable that we all talk about.
Right. Yeah.
Because we be having these conversations
all
on
the time.
The regular.
Yeah.
All the time.
Real talk.
The struggle.
So what's on the docket, Dan?
Well, first, like, introduce yourself.
Oh, hello. My name is Joe. Last name Stitt. Holla at me. I don't really know what else to say.
Holla at him because he is single and
ready to mingle.
We are taking applications. Just email me. I'll drop it in the description. Go ahead.
Yes, I am Will. Also, last name Stitt. We are brothers.
Yes.
And I am a creative. I'm a photographer, videographer, aspiring graphic designer, but I'm not sure where that's gonna lead to.
That's it.
But
can I didn't. I just said my name. I also do photography. I'm all right with the videography. I'm not too
really
bad.
He's really good. He's just trying to be humble.
He's being modest, but he's really good.
Well, thank you. I'll just accept it. I'm not going to push back. But yes, I do those things as well. I wish I could do graphic design, but I mean, I just admire from afar.
He is
the
iPhone graphic designer. He is a professional.
Oh, like
that is true.
Canva, Over
is my joint.
Over is his Photoshop.
Yeah.
It is.
So he is a professional.
I have learned to use what works for me. I think I'm trying to start dipping my toe in Photoshop, but I'm just not there yet. So until then, I use Over to get the
which
job
is
done.
your mobile version of Photoshop.
It is.
And you're
Absolutely.
great. You're great in that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You're up.
My name is Christina. I am the creative director of Creatives Are Essential and just a creative director in general. And producer. So...
And the founder of Creatives Are Essential.
Yes.
And all the titles that mean that you started something.
Our very own Steve Jobs.
With the A.
Steve Jobs.
I was like, who's that? And then I realized
it was just like an accent.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I think this episode is like the perfect episode to talk about just starting something new.
Yeah.
Like, I think in this season, a lot of people are starting new things. I think because of COVID, people have been forced to start new things. Even this is something that, even though I'm very familiar with production, like being in front of the camera and, just talking instead of just being behind the scenes, this is new to me. And it's scary. Like,
yeah,
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, bravo to you.
Yeah.
Because I know it's been a long time coming.
Sweating balls,
Christina's
guys.
always behind the camera.
Yes.
Sweating balls.
Like, you can't, I'm a back sweater, so you can't see it. But like, I'm very drenched back here. And I was up very late last night in the middle of the night, just staring at the ceiling like, this is actually going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, hello, darkness.
I just pictured your face. Just
like, God, are we really doing this?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean,
Good
I
on
think
you.
the hardest part, well, not the hardest part, but one of the hardest things is just starting, because I think we always get in our heads. And that's whether you're a creative, and I use that term loosely because I think we all are creative. I don't think we need to be called a creative, because I don't think creativity is just for like the arts. But regardless of what you do, like when you're starting something new, it's so easy to just get in your head. But like, what do you guys
Talk
think?
yourself out of it.
Yeah. Like, why is that? Like, what are the obstacles that prevent you from starting?
Well, I know for a fact, like one of the main killers of people stepping out on things for me is comparing.
Yeah.
I think it's like, okay, man, I want to get into photography, and then we'll like kind of look up, you know, these pictures that we see, and they're like so amazing and beautiful, and you know, they've been retouched and all these things, and they look amazing. And then you take a picture and it just looks like I could have done with this with my iPhone. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, oh, I suck. I'm not doing this stuff.
Right.
But like, you don't see that those people that you're, you know, admiring, they started at the very same place that you're at. And I think it's the problem of comparing yourself to someone who's been doing this for forever or for a long time and been like, you know, honing in their skill, and you're expecting you to be on that level right out the gate.
Right.
And it doesn't work that way, you know?
And I also think social media is like a big thing, because now more than ever, like it's super easy to compare yourself, because you like go on Instagram and it's right there.
Yep.
Right.
Like you don't even got to look for it.
Right.
You know?
And it's so saturated, you know?
Yeah.
Everybody's doing something. Everybody's posting something. It's like it's not like just one person that's really doing it well, and you got a bunch of other people that are trying to get there. It's like this person is amazing and that person is amazing. Like I've always made the comparison. Like I remember back in the day when I was coming, like, you know, the internet was just starting. You know what I mean? So
How old are you?
Like. But I remember, like, your world was as big as your neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your world was as big as your school.
Man, good times.
Seriously. And I think that there was a level of, I don't want to say humility, but just like, you know, like, man, like, let's rise up the ranks here, you know, and like, let's do this thing. But now you have to compare yourself to the world. Right. You know what I mean? Because the internet, Instagram, Facebook, all the different platforms, you have all these people doing the exact same thing that you are, and possibly at a better level. And now you got more people to compare yourself to. Like, it was hard enough trying to be, you know, top dog at your school. Right. Now you have to be top dog in the state, in the country. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's too much you're holding yourself too high of a
expectation.
Yeah, like too high of a level of expectations. When it's just like, bro, just start.
Yeah.
Just start somewhere and then build on that.
Yeah. And going back to touching more on comparison, even when it comes to YouTube, I know that's not looked at as much of a social platform as the others, but you see a lot of these YouTubers who got millions of subscribers, and they're driving these nice cars, and they live in these nice condos and these nice houses. And it's like, that's what people are attracted to. Now, who knows how they started or what they had to, you know, deal with to get to where they are. But that's the problem, is that a lot of people look at that. And I think for me, when I started out in photography, one of the things as I look back, one of the things I'm thankful for is I was always trying to just be better at photography. And I loved it so much that nothing else really mattered. And it's hard to even comprehend it today, because there's so much more going on in life now. Yeah. You know, you got bills to pay, and you stressed out about different things, you know, and back then it was like, it was me and my camera and me. And so
sounds like a movie.
Right.
My Nickelodeon show.
Yeah. And so I'm definitely thankful for that time, even when it was frustrating, even when I outgrew my little T5i and I was ready to upgrade and I couldn't. Those times still, I believe, really helped me to not just get to where I am, but to build my what would you call it?
Your style?
Yeah, like develop my style.
Yeah.
And just to try to be the best doing what I was doing. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
and everybody has to go through that process. I think you can't skip that.
Right.
Everybody starts at the same place for the most part. Yeah, everybody starts at the same place.
Like this is I love movies, so this is gonna be like a movie example. But like you can't when I say you can't skip the process, you see the benefits of people that go through the process, and when people don't. When Marvel. They took the time to sit there and give you backstory after backstory after backstory after backstory, and then build on that to really show you okay, who these characters are. And now you're invested in them, and then you can build these movies, and then, you get to Avengers, Infinity War, Endgame, and it was amazing. Mm-hmm. But then you have DC, who was just we got to hurry up. And it was they had a Superman movie, and then a Superman Batman movie, and then
boom, Justice League.
It was the heck? What the heck is this?
Who are these characters?
One was very successful. Mm-hmm. One wasn't. You know what I mean? Because DC decided to skip the process of trying to build on something. Yeah. And so the same thing when it comes to us, we have to put in the hours in the thing that we're trying to do. If we're trying to be a photographer, a graphic designer, event planner, or whatever, you have to put in the hours on YouTube, looking at other people, how they do their process, or, seeing what colors match up, or, learning how your camera works, doing all that stuff before you can consider yourself to be this amazing, and even in that, not growing weary necessarily of what you're doing, because this is all a part of the process.
And I think you have to fall in love with the process.
Yeah.
Yes.
And fall in love with what you're doing before you start setting these high expectations. Because I feel like you said, it's easy to see the millions of followers, and I fall into this trap too. But it's easy to see all the millions of followers or subscribers and everything. But in the place where you only have 10 subscribers, just get acclimated with the process or creators are essential in general. I'm what if we do this podcast and it only has 10 listens or 10 views? That alone, when I get in my head that alone is enough to make me be nah, we good. We don't need to do it. We don't need to do it. It's all good. But in every podcast that has millions of listeners, they all start in the same place. Right. Yep. So while we're doing show 1, let's just get familiar with the process and just build on that. But just fall in love with what we're doing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I think another thing that stops people is, the uncertainty and just the fear of not knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think that coupled with, people got jobs and they still have to support themselves. And I think that as an adult, there's always this compromise. It's I either got, y'all ever heard the expression, when you're young, you've got money and energy, but no time. When you're middle-aged, you have money and time, but no energy. And then when you're old age, you have you have energy and money, but no time. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like you said that
I think
wrong.
it was a little bit, I think you had them mixed up a little bit. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I
completely get what you're saying.
Yeah, the point is just, there's always seems to be this compromise, know? Yeah. And people who work, I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and it's you work a 9 to 5, but when you come home, it's you tired, Yeah. And right. I think it's one of those. That's
so real though.
Yeah, it is. And it can be how do I I'm either choosing to do what I love or I'm choosing to make sure my bills get paid. And it's hard.
That's real. And I think if I were to go back to my younger self, like 10 years ago, like I would really encourage myself to just say, listen, try it. Just try stuff.
Try it all,
like
and see what sticks.
Exactly. Because it, like you said, like even in your example, like with yourself, William, like you really wanted to hone in on your camera. It was like, if I'm not pushing myself to try new things and stuff like that, there's gonna come a time like we're talking about when we're not gonna have the time like we used to,
right?
And so you have to make the most of that. So like any young creators out there right now, like push yourself, like use this time that you have right now to try things. If you're on a college campus, take pictures of your friends.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like try to get into like different school events and stuff like that. Like if you're trying to do design, like see if you can get on or like, make different designs for different clubs or whatever. Like just push yourself.
Go on YouTube and start making mixtape covers.
Yeah.
That's how I started. You know how many mixtape covers I've done? Like non-paid stuff, just tutorials.
Yeah.
Where I was just learning how to even use the program.
Mm-hmm. Didn't you make the cover for your mixtape?
What?
Oh yeah.
Guys,
I still haven't heard it yet.
Gonna do this here, and definitely not now.
It's okay. When I find it, I'll leak it so you guys can hear.
Good luck. Good luck.
She's like, well, you ain't gonna find it.
Yeah,
but
I've covered all the tracks.
Yeah, I got it inside, man.
Who?
Justin.
Don't worry about it.
MJ.
You'll never know.
But okay, so you're speaking to the younger people, but what about the people who are older, and who are already in that scenario where like right now I got time, right? I'm a little older than I was 10, when I was just in school and had nothing else to do and before I had responsibilities, but I got time. But what about the people who work full-time jobs, who want to start something, but by the time they get off of work, they tired?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that then? Because that's the majority of adults. Not everybody is fortunate enough to do what they love for a living.
Right.
So when you're trying to break into that while you also have bills to pay, how do you do that?
Well, for me, I'm gonna say this. Like I know, like I'm trying to start a few new kind of endeavors.
What you working on?
No, it's not that deep.
You ain't telling me about nothing.
No, I'm talking. Well, one, I'm trying to like grow in photography still, because you never stop learning. But also like I want to get more into, like I said, graphic design and stuff like that. So what I started doing is like I started making like playlists on YouTube of different tutorials and stuff like that I want to catch up on. And like if there is any moment of free time that I have, like I'll go to that playlist and start there. Because I think you have to make the most of the time that you have. Because like we said, you're not going to have as much time as you did when you were younger, pre-job and all that stuff. But you do have pockets of time. You know what I mean? And I think you have to make the most of those.
Time management.
Exactly. And there's different platforms out there like... well, I'm not going to say nobody because they ain't sponsoring us yet.
But if you want to, feel free.
But there's different platforms. There's different platforms out there where you can, start lessons, start classes and stuff like that. But you have to, like, sometimes you might have to stay up later or get up earlier, to kind of hone in that. Like it's just the nature of the game. Life is not going to stop.
Right.
So you have to find a way to fit your stuff into there if that's something that you really want to do.
Right.
And you have to really figure out if this is something I am willing to
invest time in.
Exactly. Lose sleep over, and all that stuff. So
that's real. Cause again, we ain't even start talking about like if you have kids and all that stuff. I can't imagine.
I ain't got no kids.
I can only, thankfully. not that you don't have kids. I'm just saying.
Oh, thank God! I can't take another one of you.
We don't need another Joe walking around. Nah, but I think another thing is valuing what you have to offer.
Yes.
Because I think that's another thing that I was just having this conversation with a friend this morning of just something like another mental obstacle or hurdle that you have to jump over is actually believing that, you know, what you have to offer is valuable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that you're worth it.
That you're worth it. Yeah. Like what with the talents that you have, or even if you feel like you don't have the talent to get into what you're doing, like, what else are you gonna do? Be miserable?
Like, seriously, I've said this to, like, I had a friend of mine. He was trying to get into photography and stuff like that. And, you know, like, and one thing I've said, like, to other people in the past is, you know, start somewhere. Like, you might have to do some free photo shoots or something like that, or whatever. But, you know, just to get your skills up. But I also say, like, listen, don't do nothing for free either. Like, at least get a meal out of the deal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's accurate. And I think that's valuing you as well, because this is your time at the same time as well. You know, like, if, like, yeah, you might get some pictures out of it, but, like, hey, I'm also hungry. You can get something. Like, I think that's real. That's valuing, you know, what you're bringing to the table. Because at the end of the day, it's the hours that you put in that people are paying for. Yeah. You know? I don't know if that really adds to the conversation.
No, it does.
Not,
I mean,
it's a part of valuing yourself.
It is a part of valuing yourself. And for me, like, another reason why, well, partially a reason why, like, this took so long is because I'm like, what if people don't got to hear or don't care about what I got to say?
Well, forget them. That's what.
Yeah, then we have 10 listeners.
Get out of here, you.
10 views, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. But also, like, I have to remember, like, I have things to say. I have things to talk about. I've been through a lot in the past, like, 10 years of, like, creating. I've experienced a lot, especially in the past, like, 2 years. Like, one thing I really want to talk about, like, maybe next episode or something, is, like, betting on yourself, which I feel like I've done repeatedly.
Yes, you have.
Over the past, 2 years.
Lord Jesus, you have.
Yeah.
Taking those risks.
I just be jumping.
Better than me.
I don't even reward. Like, by now, like, parachute or not, I'm jumping.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But that's another thing. Like, you really have to value what you bring to the table. Because when I was up last night staring at the ceiling, I was like, God, I don't know if people gonna care.
Yeah.
I really don't know. Like, a couple of weeks ago, I did this little poll on Instagram, like, should we do a Creatives Are Essential podcast, knowing that I already wanted to do the podcast. Right. And I think just seeing that people wanted it or were interested in it kind of, like, gave me the affirmation to do it.
Yeah.
But it's a mental struggle.
Yeah. And I'm going to say this too, man. I think sometimes we can make that the driving force. Like, man, are people going to like are they going to like this?
Yeah.
But the thing is, it doesn't always matter. That. You know what I mean? Like, it's you, if there's, like, a vision in you, it's up to you to just bring it to pass, because there's an audience for something. Like, there's an audience for everything. I believe that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just a matter of, shooting your shot until people come to the stadium. You know what I mean? Like, it's you keep shooting until that fan base begins to rise up. You know what I mean? So it might not be the people you are hoping for all the time, but there's an audience for something out there. You know what I'm saying? So, like, don't let people be your driving force. I think we kind of mentioned that a little bit earlier. Like, if one person comes through the door, that's one person.
Right.
But maybe next week there's 5 people.
Right.
Or the following episode, 10, 20, whatever, going forward. But, like, you just have to be committed to the vision that you see. Yeah. And that's different when if you're just doing it to, like, try and make some money or whatever, that's different. But, like, if there's a vision in you, something like, man, this drives me, I really want to do this. Do it, and don't let people be the determining factor, when as to why you're going to do it, or if you're going to do it.
And to hit on that, like, the money part of things. If you're doing it for the money, I'm not knocking nobody trying to make some money.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it for the money and you starting like that, like, it's not going to last too long.
Yeah.
Because money is a great thing, but when you're doing something just for the money, it'll drain the hell out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think going back to, like, when I was talking about when I first started out, money really was never on my mind. I just
That's
wanted
a beautiful place to be.
It is. It really is. And I think as I started to get better and I was posting my pictures here and there, I started to get, people, can you do my birthday shoot and can you do this? And then I was like, nah, I'm good. Like, I didn't want to. Like, I felt like I photographed what I wanted to photograph. It was, it was never about money. It was more of like a creative form of expression, if you will. And going back to what you all were just talking about, I think also, yes to what Joseph said. And I think when it comes to starting things, as you're starting the podcast, it's a lot about purpose. So I feel like, because that's something that's been on my heart a lot recently, is whatever you do, the purpose is really what will carry it,
Right.
And so I think that there's a lot of purpose in what you have to say and what we have to say. And yes, it may, humble beginnings. It may be 1 or 2 viewers or, and then it'll grow to 5 or 10. But I think that it will grow regardless.
Yeah.
And
I think that's like the separating the strong from the weak. Like when you get knocked in the mouth, like can you still be persistent in that?
Yeah.
When it can if you put that thing out and it's like no one watches, or someone thinks your pictures look trash, or if you feel like your pictures or whatever, is that gonna stop you from doing like in those moments you have to be able to say, okay, I'm not where I want to be.
Right.
But I'm not where I was.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that's where you see the separation of people that are like rising up the food chain and the ones that just give up.
Yeah.
Right.
Because consistency, that matters.
Yeah.
And character too. Like those hard times, they build character.
They sure do.
Yes, they do.
That's an important part of the process is those hard times, you know? So
mess up, make mistakes. You learn a lot from that.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, no, go ahead. What you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, that just reminded me of going back when you're not concerned with money and you just fall, like Christina said, you just fall in love with doing what you're doing. It's such a natural thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's so natural.
Yeah.
And
because the money will come.
Yes, it will.
Yeah. And you're just focused on doing this thing, whatever it may be, and loving doing it, and just constantly wanting to get better at it. You know,
that has to be the driving force, because it's like before you're trying to make money, have something that people are willing to pay for.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Before you're concerned with spend or charging this amount or blah 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 blah. Make sure what you have is worth paying for.
Right.
Like anybody can go to Best Buy and buy a camera, but not everybody knows how to use it.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
So you have to set yourself apart, grind in the different aspects of the area that you're in, and then make sure you get to a place where, you know what, I'm proficient enough in what I'm doing. I understand the ins and outs of what I'm doing. So now I can charge, because I've got to a place where this is good enough for people to pay money for.
Right. You have to add value.
Yes.
You have to add value. I think another thing too is what happens when you, and we may have touched on this a little bit, but when you want to start, but you don't know what the first step is.
Ooh,
because I think that stumps a lot of people who have an idea in their mind, but they don't even like, what does that look like?
So I guess I kind of have 2 answers for that. And I don't know if this is kind of like a devil's advocate kind of thing, but like calling myself out, we've talked a lot about if I was to start a podcast, because I've always just wanted to talk about something, but I'm like, what am I going to talk about? But then on the other hand, I'm always encouraging somebody else to start something, and it's like, when I hear other people, it's like, no, you got everything you need. Yep. And of course, this is advice really that I should be telling myself.
Same.
Right.
Same. Because you've been encouraging me a lot lately because I've been in my head a lot.
Yeah, same, vice versa though. And I think if I was to say it to somebody else on that side of being on the other side, I would just say that, you know, you really have what you need, even if it's just our phones. Because when I started vlogging when I was still in college, people thought I had a camera, but I didn't use that to vlog. I used my phone. And some people couldn't believe it. Like, you did all that on your phone? I'm like, yeah. You know, but
we got whole computers in our pockets.
Right, literally. And we're surrounded by technology all the time. So we feel as if what we have is not good enough.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing to deal with when you don't have it. You know, because I get it. It's like you see the next best thing and it's like, no, I need that. Then I'll start. But then you get it and it's like, well, no, I need that thing. And then I'll start. And it's a never ending, you know, there. So,
and I have all the things.
Yeah.
I would even tell people like, look, just start. I'll help you. I'll help you edit, you know, because I get excited when more people want to create and create something new. It excites me because it's like, it's community and it's fun. And it's like, like we can do it, you know?
Right.
Absolutely. And I think too, like your question about just, if you don't know where to start, where do you start? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's going to be different for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I know for me, like, I like to be able to ask questions to someone and get an answer.
Yeah.
Other people, they're more self-taught, you know, they can find different videos that fit their style, all that jazz, whatever. And they can kind of just navigate it themselves somehow. Depending on who you are, I think you have to find that medium. So like, if you're like me, if you need to be able to ask people, like, look for somebody that is in your area that might be pretty good at what the thing that you're trying to do, and reach out to them. Never hurts to shoot a DM.
That's
like
true.
To just say, hey,
shoot your shot.
I'm new at this and I really love your work. I wanted to know, could I come and shadow you, or maybe, you know, blah, 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 whatever. And just see what they say.
Right.
Doesn't work? Oh, fine, you know, but.
And that's growth for you, because you weren't always like that.
You
were not.
No, very much so. That's why I wish I could go back to my younger self and say, get it together.
Yeah, same.
But if you're someone that is, you kind of have that drive already within you, just find a project.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, find something that you like, that you might see online. Where, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna try it, and just try it and start there and see how that. You know, how that works out. And
try to stick to it.
Yeah.
Too.
And be consistent. Like, find a project, consistently doing a project.
Right.
Like, don't stop. Like, once you finish one, on to the next.
Right.
And do the next one. And that's how you just grow in that thing. I think that's where you start at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say be consistent, because I'm one of those people who, like, I'm very good at teaching myself or like figuring things out, but I am not the best at being consistent. So I have a lot of like tabs open all over the place. So once you got
I'm saying from an ideal perspective, like saying I was just saying, like, I think I've done the same thing too, where it's like you're so spread that nothing gets done.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I want to do this and this and this. I remember when I first, like, I was into videography and motion graphics and script writing and, photography.
Joe was about to be a whole filmmaking crew by himself.
Listen, but now I think I'm at a place now where it's like, okay, pick an area, maybe two, and lock in on it. Yeah. And I like, for the longest, I've been a jack. And I want to be a king, like, you know what I mean?
Like a jack of all trades?
Like a jack of all trades, yeah. And I want to be a master in an area and then move on to the next, you know what I mean? So I think you have to kind of like narrow your vision on a point and then put all your effort towards that.
Yeah.
You know?
Because you don't want to spread yourself too thin too soon.
And then you get frustrated and then you want to give up all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll even say, I keep going back, but I had been doing photography for 4 years before I even pressed record to record any type of video or edited any type of video. And I wasn't even thinking about video at all, you know? And so everything happened so organically that I just kind of eased into video and I loved it, you know?
Yeah.
And it grew, it blossomed into that. And so now there's always something more to learn, of course, but it's nice to have a firm foundation in one area solidified. Yeah. Always more to learn, like I said, but to have that solidified, then moving on to the next thing, like you said. So
yeah,
it's good.
And combining them too, because then the more you learn to do, you start bringing those channels together.
Yeah,
you know. So,
and I think another thing is like, not everybody eases into things. Sometimes you get shoved into it, but just not being afraid of that too. Because sometimes situations will like line themselves up for you to start things and you may not feel that you're ready. Maybe that's it. What happens when you don't feel like you're ready to start? But I don't think anybody's ever ready.
I was just gonna say
to start something. Yeah. Like my grandfather said to me one time, he said, if you wait until you feel ready, you'll never start it.
That's it. Yeah. That's so true.
You know, because I mean, I think about like people who have kids, right? Like who's ever ready to have a child?
I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know either. Because if you ask me right now, I'm not even ready to have a dog. You know, so
I am low key. But that's another story.
But you've already had one, so that's different.
That's true.
But, you know, like
we're talking about a dog, by the way.
A dog. Yeah. Well, actually, the running joke is, so William disappears for hours at a time. And our little running joke is that he has a whole nother family.
Like that we don't know
about. We don't know about, and a couple kids.
Yep.
So we're kidding, but you may not be.
Exactly.
Lost my train of thought.
Yep. Back to
you're talking about
just not feeling like you're prepared, not feeling like you're ready to start. Like I feel like sometimes you just got to go for it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to go for it because you may never feel ready. You may never get to the point where you're like, all right, I got this. I'm gonna start.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like again, COVID, a lot of people got laid off from their jobs. So it's like you got time now. So you gotta, sometimes the situations or circumstances will line themselves up for you to like take that leap, and you just gotta go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how I got into video, I was just, I had bought my camera, but I had bought it for photography. And even that was like a stretch because I'm a graphic designer. But I got it for photography, and then I started playing around with the video, you know, features on it. And I recorded this artist. I think I was telling you this story the other day. But I was recording this artist at this event, and I sent them the video. They loved the video, and they had a family member who needed some, like a commercial to get done. And I'm like, hold up. I ain't never did nothing like that. And I don't want to mess y'all stuff up. So like, let me think about it. But I ended up doing it after like a lot of reluctance. I ended up doing it. And from that artist, like a month later was like, hey, I'm going on tour. I need someone to like record me. And that's really how I got like into video. Cause even me going was like, I feel like I didn't know a lot. I had like 2 lenses and a hell of a lot of batteries. And I just like, all right, we're going to figure it out. You know? So you may not feel ready to start, but you just got to, you just got to go for it sometimes because you just don't know where it's going to lead you.
Seriously. And that just goes back to the point where it's like, try it. Just
right.
Like, because I'm pretty sure you didn't feel prepared or you didn't feel like I have mastered my craft at the time, but like there was a ton of experience that you got from that, you know, from that tour, all that stuff. Like,
you got to travel the country for free.
Come on, man. Just, hey, man, let's go. Like, try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this too. I think this is something that kind of like really helped me when I like to kind of like shift my mindset a little bit. I was listening to this guy, and he was like, when he was talking about when he first got his camera, if anybody asked him to do a job that that involved him using his camera, it was a yes off the bat, regardless of what it was.
That's scary.
It's scary, but I think it's also opportunities to grow
learn.
and also to find out which areas that you might be like have like a heart for. Like, so if it was a wedding, yes. If it was, hey, I need to do a commercial, yes. Hey, I need pictures for my business, yes. And if it was his camera, he was doing it. And because of that, he found the things that he was actually passionate about, and then focus his energy and his drive on those things. So again, shoot, man, shoot your shots. Like take advantage of every single opportunity that comes your way, especially when you're starting out, because you never know what it is that you'll actually fall in love with.
Yeah, and a little funny side story. So a couple weeks ago, Christina and I were doing a brand shoot for a friend of ours. And we were at a mall, and they've got like all the different high end stores and everything.
Come closer to the mic.
All the different high end stores and everything, and we were like, man, it'd be great if we could have some bags out of the store, like just the shopping bags, like what you would put the merchandise in after you purchase it. And I was like, well, man, I don't know, but Christina, Miss Shoot Her Shot here. She goes into
put that on a hoodie.
Yeah.
Shoot your shot.
Yeah. I think the first store you went into was Burberry, and they told you no. And then everybody else, you went to Coach,
Prada. Which I expected them to say yes. But then it's just like confidence building. Mm-hmm. So once they gave me bags, I was like,
yep.
Well then. So then we went to Prada.
Yeah.
And they gave me a bag. I'm like, well, I'm on a roll. Ultimate test, Versace. And Versace gave us a bag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm like, see, Burberry, you just missed out.
Yeah.
And you lucky the Gucci store was too far of a walk, because I would have went to Gucci next. And then we did that shoot the next day, and the shoot was amazing.
Awesome.
So one thing about me, man, I'm going to shoot my shot.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every single time. Because the worst someone could say is no. But that's a whole nother topic when you talk about betting on yourself. Like, that's a whole nother, we'll save that one.
As far as the Shoot Your Shot t-shirt goes, I think that would be dope. You might get a little more DMs. But yeah, I think just run with that idea.
So we're going to cancel that. We're going to cancel that idea. In theory, just go ahead and shoot your shot, but not in my DMs.
Go ahead and
do it, you can shoot your shot in his.
Go ahead and do it, guys. Hit her up.
Underscored.
I thought. Never mind.
No, not my DM. No, guys, don't come to my DMs, please. Do not come this way.
Oh boy, we're gonna get canceled in the first episode. Anywho, that's all I got. That's all I got for today. I think we covered a lot.
Yeah.
I think almost every aspect of starting, I think we covered. If you have any questions, though, you could always DM Creatives Are Essential. And, that's something that we can
And if you're looking for a date, you can DM
If you're looking for a
Christina.
hoodie, Creatives Are Essential hoodie, or any of the first collection that I didn't think that we were all going to be wearing the hoodie the same day.
Yeah,
this was not planned.
I know you guys were wondering, like,
this was not planned.
This is not planned. I think we've realized now that we need to discuss wardrobe before we come.
I just didn't think I was going to have to coordinate with y'all.
Yeah, I mean, I knew already I was going to be rocking the hoodie.
Yeah,
I didn't think that everyone would be, but we're here. And and Christina hates it when we're ever wearing the same thing. Yeah, but I love it. I think it's a symbol of our friendship, and she doesn't completely claim me, so she doesn't like it when we wear the same clothes. So I appreciate it. She hates it, and the fact that she hates it, I'm really enjoying this moment. So
I think it goes back to like, when we all have the same equipment too. It's like when we get the same headphones, the same.
I think we're getting to soft spots right now. I think we should go ahead and end this.
All I'm going to say is y'all have a lot of Creatives Are Essential gear. And y'all could have worn anything, but y'all had to wear the hoodie.
Listen,
but I think it would have been the same thing had we worn the cream. Had we all worn the cream shirt, and it's like y'all could have worn.
Let me just say something: the Corona 20, the Corona 15, it didn't do justice when it came to these t-shirts. They were great at first, but now it's highlighting all the wrong areas.
Gotcha.
So,
I'm like, what are you talking about?
That thing is shrunk, or the opposite.
Right.
Right.
All right. Well, that's all I got. But to wrap up, I'm taking a page out of How Married Are You podcast. Shout out to Belief and Yvette. We're gonna say what inspired you this week? Like, what's one thing that inspired you this week? That's how I want to close.
All right. The thing that inspired me this week, I watched a video essay on the opening to Batman vs Superman by this guy's named like Ben from Canada on YouTube. It was a awesome like show of how this intro was built to visually and audibly push a certain message without you even knowing it. And it was so awesome just showing how it was supposed to, like, I don't know if you guys remember like Batman vs Superman. They showed the whole scene when Batman
never watched it.
Bruce Wayne's parents were killed and all that stuff and all that jazz. They go through the whole scenario, but they showed how Bruce Wayne was falling, like he was becoming low, like in his mind and all that stuff. But the way they did it visually was so dope. And not only did they do it visually, like falling, but the scene took place in fall, like the season of fall, right? And also the score, the notes were literally
interesting.
Like, yeah, it was awesome. It was so dope, just showing how like all these things were just, there was a descent in his life happening after his parents died. But then like when he is surrounded by all these bats and he's now being surrounded by this, I guess the thought of becoming Batman, you see him being elevated, and then the score begins to elevate as well.
Wow.
It's so dope. Like stuff I never even realized before. And
this is a movie guy.
Yeah,
by
absolutely.
The way. Will?
I was thinking about it while Joseph was talking. I'm like, what inspired me this week? And I think what I would say is really what we're doing right now, because I think this is what I've been looking forward to. And it's just nice to see an idea come to life and to become something that is tangible and purposeful, you know? Yeah. So that's what I'll say. It's just the podcast and everything just involving creatives are essential, because there are days when, there are days when I don't feel very essential. And
that's real.
It's like, it's just nice. And like I said, I was really looking forward to this podcast, and it's just something that keeps you busy, and you enjoy while you're doing it. So I hope it helps. I hope it helps somebody out there.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope we didn't, just waste the last 50 minutes. One thing that inspired me this week, I haven't edited a video in quite some time, because I've been more so on like the producer side of things. So like coordinating shoots and, overseeing the outcome of the video, but not really being so hands-on with the creation of it, as far as like filming and editing. But I shot that brand shoot that we were talking about earlier. I did like a behind the scenes video of it, and I just put it together last night, and I'm just so proud of myself.
It's so dope.
I'm so proud of myself because I haven't edited in so long, and it came out pretty decent. Mm-hmm. So I'm just excited to kind of get back in the flow of, just doing the things that I started out like doing in the beginning of my career, and just, getting back to the basics and enjoying that stuff.
Yeah.
Back to the basics.
Just so you guys know, pretty decent for Christina is amazing for anybody else. Yeah. All right. So just so we're clear.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And I know she didn't touch on the fact that she's a graphic designer, but she's one of the best graphic designers that you will probably ever meet or work with, collaborate with.
Listen, I got my favorite graphic designer and my favorite photographer. Whoops, I thought that was your face. Favorite graphic designer and photographer right here on set with me. So
you guys are just too sweet.
Awesome.
All right. Well, Black people don't blush, so this is where we're gonna stop here. Well, thank you guys for listening. episode 2. Legit, I keep forgetting this camera is here.
Yeah.
That's kind of a good thing.
It's a good thing, but also like my facial expressions are, they have a mind of its own. But anyway, yeah, episode 2 coming soon. And thank you guys for listening. I'm going to leave you with this tagline that I write on all of the orders for Creatives Are Essential. Inspire excellence, be resilient, and create greatness. Peace.